It is Rob Thompson. Thanks everybody for joining us with the Sports Biz podcast interview with influencers. I have Jeff Pilon.
Pilon. Yeah, either one.
Yeah.
After the Hey You or Guy, but Pilon or Pilon still
I
works.
try to get. You just told me, and I tried to get fancy, and I didn't nail it. I tried to
Close.
get fancy.
It was a good attempt.
I tried to get fancy. So Jeff, you're the founder of Jukebox Lax and on Jukebox Lacrosse. So it's jukeboxlax.com is your website. But I'm psyched to have you on here, and I think you got something that you're going to be ahead of your time here in the United States with this product. And I know that it's just starting to blow up and it's starting to expand on the professional level. But before we do that, let's back this whole thing up. Introduce yourself and tell everybody about kind of your story, where you started. I know at Syracuse. Start at Syracuse, and let's work up to where you are today.
Putting the pressure on me.
Yeah.
Well, thank you much, Rob, for having me. I appreciate it. This is actually my first podcast, so
nice.
It'll be pretty cool. But okay, so my history, way back in the day, January 1995. Started playing football at Syracuse University. Came in early because, the Canadians, we got this weird education system at the time. We had OAC, which is a grade 13. Yeah, exactly. Keep you there for an extra year. Did end up going to my grade 13. Went to Syracuse in January of 95 as an offensive lineman. And ended up playing football there. We won 3 conference championships, went to 5 bowl games. We set college records in Michigan and for attendance. And yeah, it was an awesome experience. A Canadian kid getting a chance to live his dream out of playing football. And so from there, had a chance to go to the Jets. Made the practice squad for a little while at the Jets, and then chance to come up to Canada and play. And then from there, a quick little shot in the XFL, the one and only XFL, and then went and finished off my career here in Canada playing football for the Calgary Stampeders for 10 years, and a chance to win 2 Grey Cups and All-Stars and a few other little accolades, but football was my life for 25 years.
Wow.
Since I was 10 years old. So, yeah, banging and whacking and, all that kind of fun stuff. And then you have to grow up and in life. So got into the oil patch like everybody else does out in Alberta here. And then got into lacrosse, of all things, right? You have to grow up. I had kids and my son started playing lacrosse. His buddies wanted to get involved in it. And, growing up, we never played it. Going to Syracuse, you have, the Gates, the Powells, Syracuse was the powerhouse. And it just wasn't my thing. It just wasn't, just didn't hit me. And then, I had my son start playing box. And, man, it just kind of overtook me. It was awesome. It was one of these holy, I wish I would have played this sport growing up. The eye-hand coordination, the speed, the agility, the toughness, everything about the sport is right up my alley. I love it. You have to be quick. You have to run. You have to be able to take a hit, give a hit. The eye-hand coordination, be able to run and shoot at the same time. Mm-hmm. It just brought me in. So that's kind of how it started for me. Is my boy at 9 and a half, yes he was, and watching kids playing box, Canadian box, and then for me sitting in the stands as a dad, watching these kids get whacked and hit, and you see my son's a bigger kid. He's a little bit bigger kid, and at that age, you're talking 8, 9, 10-year-old kids. The size of them just so dramatic, right? From guys that are like little 3 apples high up to my son now who's 5'5". So there's a big difference, and the kids start getting hit, and so I'm watching as the games progress, and I'm learning and watching it here, and you see these kids start getting hit and cross-checked and hit, and then I've always wanted to be a guy who I've always thought outside the box. I've always wanted to develop and create my own thing.
Yeah.
So got into, I saw a niche that really needed to be developed. What really sort of getting me angry almost is that these kids would get hurt and the clock would still be running. So they lie on the ground, the team's losing, clock's running, no chance for them to come back, and the clock won't stop unless it's been run for 5 minutes. Then they'll stop the clock if the kid's still on the ground. So, it spurred me to start looking and figure out a way to make some equipment better. And lacrosse over the years has been traditionally, your least amount of equipment, and especially in box, and show how tough you are. But these younger kids haven't developed that, get real fancy here, this like kinesthetic way of using their bodies, and don't really know where their limbs are going. And when you have a chance to take a stick and a shaft, you can whack somebody with it, kids tend to miss where they're supposed to be putting it. So developed some shoulder pads that are patented. We just finished patenting these pads, and then it created that. From there, it's basically sparked a whole line of lacrosse protective gear and shafts. So that's kind of a real short nutshell of how I kind of where I've grown, kind of gotten into, and we're a box equipment company that's going to be creating products for field and for box, and to make our kids safer as they go out in the field. And they won't even know they have these things on or it's anything different. It's just going to be the ability for them to be able to go out and play and hopefully not take the hits that they are taking, and be able to keep playing and keep wanting to grow the sport. I mean, at least up here in Canada, they've been having numbers drop off in box at the, once you start getting that 10-year-old range, 10, 11-year-olds, because the kids are getting bigger. So kids don't want to take the big hits that they get. So it's kind of plateaued from there. And we're hoping with this new equipment we've come up with is that we'll be able to spark that interest and keep the kids growing and keep the sport growing. So it's been pretty wild. It's been a fun ride.
Did you consult with coaches and folks that were actually in the business to ask them, about what if you had just a blank slate? What kind of equipment would you develop for box lacrosse? Was that kind of how it started?
So really, it started like parents saying, "Well, what the heck's going on? Why haven't they come up with this yet?" And sorry if I'm being kind of vague, because I literally just finished filing my patent. So sorry, everybody out there. I know I've been a little bit vague.
Yeah.
But we are going to be launching at LaxCon, so we're going to have a full launch. It's going to be, everybody can see it, and hopefully before then we can get back on here and do a full reveal with it. But parents, coaches, really wanted to, or asking, what's going on? Why hasn't it been developed? Why haven't people said anything? I'm kind of biting my lip like, like it's being developed. We're working on it.
Right.
And, it was actually really good, talking to other coaches and other players, and they see both sides of it, right? There's parents that say, okay, hey, let me wrap my kid up in as much bubble as we can. Right. And I think that's where these next generations is really trying to protect everybody a lot. And then you have the other end of the spectrum where it's okay, just go put some newspaper on your shoulder pads and go out and play.
Right.
We talked to some local teams, local clubs, parents, and just got the feedback. Yeah, like this is needed. This is definitely needed. So we're really lucky that we are. Like the Hornets organization here in Calgary has been awesome. The parents and the parents associations have been really good, trying to help and get this thing going here. And we'll have our first working prototype of this pad by the end of Christmas, kind of thing, so we can get some real big banging and whacking with it. And we're doing some university studies here. Got that all geared up so we can have some really cool data and videos and stuff to compare against. So, but with that said, we've actually developed regular everyday shoulder pads as well. We've developed gloves, and a full line of sticks of composite shafts. So this one little kind of aha moment of what I need to make or to do has actually evolved into a complete line of protective gear. So it's been really, really, really cool.
Who else is involved in your business? Are you bootstrapping this yourself, or you got a couple?
Bootstraps.
Yeah.
Bootstraps. We got a big size 15.
Wow.
Big size 15 work boot. With a little bit of mud on it. Yeah.
So, where you guys doing the manufacturing? Is it local, or are you outsourcing that?
We're doing all the R&D locally, but I have to say it's all overseas. I mean,
Yeah.
we looked for places here in Canada. We looked for places in the U.S. To hit the retail markets and to hit the numbers that people want. It's really, really hard to get the quality and the numbers that we have to hit in having manufacturing in Canada and the U.S. So we are overseas in China.
Right.
But the good thing about it is our designer has 15 plus years experience in the sporting industry, which is really hard to find somebody that actually has designed anything. And he's been really, really helpful. He's helped set up the factories over there with the other company he's with, and he's been with CCM, Bauer, Graf, Reebok. He's a aerospace engineer by trade, and then got into the sporting world. And we've been banging this thing out, trying to get things going, and really good relationship. And it's finding a factory that you can trust and that will work with you and help build the product to where you want it, and actually meets your quality controls, your standards. And so we've been pretty fortunate that way.
So you're going to go to LaxCon, which is in Philadelphia. Where is that this year?
Baltimore Convention Center.
Yeah.
January 19th to 21st.
January 19th or 21st. So you guys have a setup down there in a booth, and
are you have a booth and all that good stuff.
Are you looking for, your ultimate goal down there, is it for distributors that you want to get your product in front of, or is it coaches, or just a bunch of, a little
everything, bit of anything and everything? We want to get our name out. We want people to be talking about us. We want to be a household name. I mean, that's the grand scheme of things, right? Is be the next up and coming product. Guys who've put time and try to evolve and try to make the sport better and grow. Mm-hmm. We love distributors. We'd love to be involved with some, distributors, anywhere from the mom and pops up to the big box stores to your coaches, universities. Again, wherever we can get our name out. That's a quality product, right? We want to make sure that the people are going to use us and be involved with us, or want to be with our standards. And it's going to be that's going to be our full launch.
So what's your thoughts on? What's your thoughts on having a celebrity endorsers or, influencers in the space? I know you talked about some of those guys you played with at Syracuse.
Yeah. It'd be, the thing is I would love to have, MLL guys, NLL guys, really anybody like that, that believes in our brand. It's and that's some of the tough things about coming up, being a Canadian company, and a new kind of wet behind the ears, trying to prove yourself, right? And it's finding that player that believes in your brand. It's like, hey man, this is something different. This is something that's pretty cool. I want to be a part of. And that's the way we want to be. We want to be different. It's not just your typical aluminum shaft, not just your typical shoulder pad. It's a small enough company where we can take feedback and we can make the change rather than waiting 2 years or whatever or that it takes for these bigger guys to make the changes. We can start designing for our next run. So it's somebody that wants to be involved in that, somebody that wants to be involved in a grassroots company that will help it grow and succeed. Those are the type of guys we want to look at. With somebody who's, our whole model is we are a box company, right? This is for the Canada. We started in box. We are a protection company. So when you're playing, we want you to feel that you're protected with what we're wearing, with the equipment. And then when you have our shafts in your hand, it's something like, it's different, right? You have the color you want, you have the feel you want, you have the weight that you want. It's not a one size fits all. So we want somebody who wants to be involved with that and help grow the company.
How did you, I'm going to shift gears a little bit here, but it just sparked me because just the way you talk about it, it sounds like, honestly, Jeff, it sounds like you've been in the business for a long time, but
hey man, when you're freaking, I can watch how I talk sometimes. I get all excited and
that's all right.
But it's I love it. Like when you're passionate about something and when you're knees deep in it and you're in the grind, you're designing, you want this product to work, and you believe in it so much.
Yeah.
You get fiery about it, right? Like I get all giddy like a little kid because I think this stuff is so cool. And for a guy like me who's never really played the sport, I go out with my son and as much as I can after having shoulder reconstructions and try to throw as much as I can. I really try to learn the equipment side of it. I'll never be a guy that comes out and says, "Hey, you know what? I know the game real well." No, man. I know equipment. I know how to make the body work. That's the stuff I love. Yeah. And if I can help a player feel better, feel stronger, feel protected, feel like they have that edge, then Jukebox is doing their job. We're doing. That to me is awesome. Somebody feels that it has that little extra oomph. Man, hey, that's all we need is just to have that. Somebody come back and say, you know what, I played great. I felt great. Awesome. Okay, that's great. Let's do it. Let's keep growing.
What did you take, like the principles of business and what you learned from your past life, and when you were done playing, you went over to, was it the gas and oil business?
Yeah, I was actually in the drilling and blasting business. So we were blowing up the oil sands and drilling holes in the ground and doing all that kind of stuff. It's kind of funny. I'm a teacher by certificate, I guess. So I graduated Syracuse with my Bachelor of Science, kinesiology and teaching, and so I from there, and then got into the oil business, and then got out, and then you learn. It's totally a new game, right? You go from blowing stuff up and grinding and working to retail and designing equipment. Like it's and figuring out how to get into a store, how to market it, how to design it properly, and it's a whole other world that's just so neat and really cool. Like it's got lots of highs and lows, and you're learning every day. Like trying to find out when buying seasons are, right? And between Canada, the U.S., between field, between high school, between the big box stores and the little mom and pops, like you're trying to figure this stuff out. You're trying to figure out how to design something properly, what's going to be cool, how they're going to like it, where's the hands going to go, how's it going to fit in the body, is this the size of the kid, the size of the person, all that kind of stuff. And it's a constant evolution every day of trying to catch up. And when we're not the big boys, right? It's my pockets go as far as my hand, and not like the other guys where they go down to their knees and some down to their ankles. They can pick it up and do what they want. And so we have to be efficient with what we do. And when we're going to release something, it's got to be right, and it's got to be good. So like you're always learning. You have to push yourself. You got to learn, and every shaft that we've sold, every glove that we've tested, I want feedback. Like I need to know that, and that's how you grow. And whether it's a sport, I mean, you've been around sports, your coach will yell and scream at you, and get you for doing something wrong. But man, you take it and you grow. You learn. If you can't self-reflect, you can't take that corrective action, then man, you're just spinning and you're going the wrong way. So that's how you grow. Is you learn, you move, you take every information you can and build it. So
You know, the one thing that I know, Jeff, and I you could attest to this. The one thing about being an athlete is you're so used to and accustomed to being uncomfortable, right? Being in an uncomfortable situation, right?
Yep.
And doing things that you don't necessarily want to do, but you know you have to do it. So you're able to adjust. You're able to adjust to coaches' styles. You're able to adjust to your environment, but you're always, always, always uncomfortable about situations, confrontation.
Hmm.
There's always something. Talk
It's
about what talk
yeah,
about
that's
how you learn because you're to go from drilling holes in the ground, which obviously had to learn the business model, you know, the margins, the everything
yeah.
that goes to operation, the assets, the equipment, the operating cost, what you're charging people, the hour, all of those,
Hmm.
and you did that. You right? So now
Yeah.
you're jumping into something else that goes back to what I just said is you're back to being uncomfortable again. You figure that other one out. Now you're back to being uncomfortable again. And if you weren't, you know, this is where I think the disparity in so many pro athletes and even college
Yeah.
athletes is that they don't know how to take that next step into industry when in reality the blocking and tackling and all you already have the nucleus there. You already have the DNA
Hmm.
for it, right? So
Hmm. For
talk
sure.
about that part of it. You know, talk about that part of it.
Well, there's a saying: you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So
Yep.
you have to know that you're going to be uncomfortable. I mean, for me, it's public speaking. Like oof, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
But it's not, in football, you're not going to be like, hey man, it's second down and a yard. Okay, coach, take me out because I'm scared. Like,
Right.
like, oh
Yeah.
man, there's the league's leading defensive end, league in sacks. Hey, I can't block him. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to do it. You're going to man up. You're going to do what you got to do and get the job done.
Right.
I think the big thing is surrounding yourself with good people. And anybody who's an athlete knows that. And again, the old cliche is, there's no I in team. You can't do it with just one person. So it's being able to find the resources, find the people, reach out to the people, and really tap into your network. And I think that was a really, really big thing, in Calgary here, is really knowing your teammates, knowing what their strengths are. You have a guy that's really good in math. You have a guy that's really good at organizing. You have a guy that's really good at this, and try and bring those people together. For me right now, I have my designer, and he's been in industries for a long time, so he knows a bunch of different angles. So it's taking his knowledge, and I have a couple sales guys, and taking their knowledge, and it's finding the right people for your team. And it's just like a coach or a GM trying to plan their team. Well, if you don't have the right guys around you, man, it's no fun. It's no fun coming to work. It's no fun planning. It's just a really negative environment. So you have to create your environment. You create what you want. And for young guys coming out of school, university, you're going to have to take the job that sucks. You're going to have to take something that you don't really like, or put yourself in that uncomfortable position. But you got to learn from it. You got to take, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, you got to take the best out of it. Okay, you know what? I learned that's perfect. Learn it. Put it into your toolbox. And playing offensive line, it was building your toolbox, building that toolbox for knowledge. Because not every person you're blocking does the same thing. So it's like, oh yeah, I can do it. I can still get the same thing done, but I'm taking a different step, or I'm doing things a different way, but I'm still going to get that same outcome. It's building your toolbox. It's building that knowledge. And any young person coming up is get as much knowledge as you can, and tap into the good people around you. And it's finding the good people. Because there'll be a lot of people out there that just want to be around you because you're an athlete or want something from you. You'll find out who the true people are and who the true people are that want to help you out real quick. And it's getting to be with those good people. So, and taken a while to learn, and it's taken, you'll definitely get some bruises and stuff along the way, but it's manning up or warming up, I guess. So I don't want to leave anybody out. But you have to be able to just to get the job done, learn and ask questions. It doesn't hurt to, you should be able to, shouldn't feel bad to ask a question. So.
When you get to close to our age, you start having self-awareness about yourself, what you're good at, especially in business, right? So where are you in that part? Are you an operator? Are you a business development guy? Are you a financial guy? I know you have to wear a lot of hats when you own the company, but what's the area that you're most comfortable in?
I'm a tweener guy. Like I love developing and operations. I love that style of planning. The financial stuff, it's okay. It's not fun. Numbers and stuff. It's good at the end when you see that number grow. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's all fun, but it's the planning and the design to get to there is what I like.
Yeah,
that's the fun part, is figuring out, okay, a different way to get that done and grow it and move it. Okay, how else can we do this? Like that to me is awesome.
Yeah, the creative side.
Yes, creative, the operational, the overseeing, basic. I don't like to use the word quarterback, but you knowing where to put where to make your next move, pretty much. When you're playing chess, right? Knowing where to go.
Did you grow up in an entrepreneurial family, or was it just something that just came natural for you?
Man, no way. My mom was a teacher. My dad worked in the government. I grew up in Ottawa, which is a government town, right? My dad is one of the most conservative people you'll ever meet. I think he can make a penny go for a mile. He used to split two-ply toilet paper in half, I think.
Oh yeah.
And my mom's a teacher, right? There's nothing. And stepdad worked in the hospital, being an RT for long. So there was nothing like that. I mean, I grew up, as kids, I wasn't the smartest by any means. I was a kid that worked hard. In school, it's actually pretty funny. My guidance counselor in school told me I better take up a trade because I'm never going to go to university.
Yeah.
She gave me one of these because, I'm dyslexic. So when you see a 9, it's a 6 and whatever. So, okay, well, school wasn't the best for me. And so she said, you know what, you better start working on a trade. Double gun salute to you. I mean, I can take away my dreams and tell me what I can't do. So, that's when I went really bear down in the school and got into that. But that's a long story. But I want to know why I went that way. But I'm always looking at doing something and creating things. I mean, back in the day, I had before all the cutters and all that stuff was coming out for football gloves. I designed my own gloves and had gloves made. I had agility and speed equipment, making that. I always wanted to. There's always some way to make something better, right? To improve on what's there. And if you just have the drive to want to do it and prove people wrong, well, get out and do it.
Well, I got to tell you, and you and I never talked about this before, but I have dyslexia as well. And
there we go. Yeah.
So, and I didn't find out. I didn't get diagnosed until I was in college, my freshman year. And the only way I would actually was able to be admitted into the school because my grades were so poor coming into it. It was a very urban high school that I went to, and so they kind of pushed me through. And when I got here, I had to take one class before summer camp, and it was a math class, which I was horrible in. And the professor said, we had to take this little simple kind of pre-test. And when it was the first class and she came back to the next class and said, you have dyslexia. You're 19 years old. No one's ever told you that. And I'm like, no. And but what she did tell me, Jeff, and I think this is where I was getting at before, is it's a common trait if you do have dyslexia, because, what people don't know is, our minds just work 5 steps ahead. We're
Yeah.
always thinking about something else. And, so ADHD and all those things that they kind of pin on you, but,
Yeah.
at least today, but what she did say is, where your mind is working on one side, the creativity is exploding on the other. And I always
Agreed.
found that was with me too. And I see that in you. It's,
Exactly.
right? The creativity, we
Yep,
get excited about
100%,
creating.
man.
Yeah. So
100%, 100%, right? It's again, I always looked at that. There's other ways to skin the cat, right? It's okay. Well, yeah, if I can't, I got to find a way to solve it, but I got to do it my way and figure out a way of twisting it and moving it, and you have to be creative. Otherwise, you just like, oh, where's this going to go? We got to find a way to get this thing done.
Figure it out. Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, you did what, 10 years in the CFL all together, 10, and then on top of the other ones. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a long time. That just doesn't happen.
It's a long time. It's commitment, and that's a big thing is bearing down and committing to doing it. It's committing to wanting to do it, and to to want to, football and sport are a thing in life. I think everybody needs to be a part of in some way, shape, or form. It takes the good, the bad, and the ugly to all make one, and it really brings out somebody's true character. Whether you have a learning disability, whether family or whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. You can show up on that field, that court, that mat, whatever it is, and man, it's the person who has the heart that's going to win.
Yeah, so true.
It's it's the person that's prepared and has the heart that wants to go and is going to win. And you can be a millionaire, you can be a bum, you can be whatever you want. It's the person that's going to show up and who's going to prepare and who wants it the most who's going to win.
And that's the same. It's the same in business. This is
same in life.
Yep.
It's the same in life, right? 100%.
So what's the next big thing for you with this vision, or the vision of this entire business that you have? Is it going to stay just boxing outdoor? Is it going to be other sports as well?
We're just staying lacrosse. It's going to be lacrosse field and box, and our big step is going to be at LaxCon. LaxCon is going to be our big coming out party. We're going to be hopefully by then everybody will be able to, or at LaxCon people will be able to see our stuff, our gear, and look at it and try it on, and then be able to, hey lacrosse world, we're here to play. We want to be out and show everybody, hey, there's this little company here out of Calgary, Alberta, that wants to make our stamp on the world. So from there, and once our patent is fully sealed, dealed, and I think it's really going to change the protective gear market for box lacrosse. It's going to be something that we want to see maybe implemented as a mandatory piece of equipment for the young, for the youth players, for the young little guys that growing up, that can be the next generation, be the next Gate, the next Powell, somebody like that. And if they feel that they have that protection, maybe they will be. And that's who we want to be.
Well, for the listeners out there, they're going to be down at LaxCon. If you're in the business, stop by the booth to see Jeff. All you have to do is look on the ground and just look for the size 15 boots. That's all you need to do, and it's him.
The 6'6", 100-pound guy that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. We're going to be in we're going to be in booth 432, and I'll be that the guy who doesn't look like your typical lacrosse player.
Boy, they grow them big in Canada. Those big lacrosse players.
Well, it's so cold. We stay inside all day and eat. That's about it.
Well, you're like the Bumble from the Christmas Story. You don't need a ladder to put the angel on the top of the tree. Just call Jeff
That's
up.
exactly it. That's it.
So they could get a hold of you on jukeboxlax.com, Juke, Juke, boxlax.com, And you have your email. What's your email address?
It'd be info@jukeboxlax.com. INFO. It's on the website as well.
It's on the website as well.
Orders on there. Yeah, and the info is on there.
You got your Stampeders are playing in the Grey Cup this weekend.
Yeah, man, it was an awesome game yesterday.
Yeah.
Right down to the wire, and they're going to the Grey Cup again in Ottawa, the hometown. So
you be at the game?
I think it's gonna be. No. I since I retired, I've been to 1.5 games.
Wow.
So I'd rather watch from home in the nice comfort of my house and just kind of be away from the armchair quarterback. No offense to armchair quarterbacks out there, but well, some of you I could.
Well,
I don't want to see my kid. My kids watch me get, escorted out of the stadium.
Well, someone needed to put Coach Costanza's on. He needed to ride around on your shoulders.
Yeah, cute little fella, eh? Kind of get him all up in my armpit and kind of walk around with him like a little puppet.
Yeah. He's like a lacrosse player.
Yeah, so, he is. He's he's almost the same size. Pete's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Pete Costanza.
He's the best. Good people out there, and I wish you all the best of luck. I know you're going to make this happen. I mean, anything you've done in your life has always been to, at the top level. So, Jeff, there's no doubt that this is going to happen. And, so if you have people, so anybody who's out there that is, if you want to get in contact with them, whether you're in the business, whether you're coaching, obviously you heard the story. And when you have an entrepreneurial spirit and when you have the DNA like you have of just figuring out and fighting through it and being comfortable being uncomfortable, it's going to happen for you. So I'm just so happy I'm able to help you do that and get your word out there. And anything I can do for you moving forward, I will. So
awesome.
Best of luck to you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This is fun. This is awesome. I really appreciate it. And first podcast, and it's I think it's exciting times going forward. If anybody wants any more information about it, just reach out to us on the website. Gladly get a hold of me, and then we can talk and go from there. But any more information about the product, then we'll talk and make this happen. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. This is awesome.
You bet, Jeff. So, and you need to start your own podcast, mister. So you better start.
I should.
You do. I
should. And I'll have you as my first guest.
Oh, I would love it. I talk for 2 hours. You wouldn't know how to get rid of me.
Wicked. That'd be awesome.
All right, brother. Well, this is Rob Thompson. You're listening to Sports Biz Podcast. Thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.